Welcome to the Real Salty Podcast. Please join Stephanie and Caitlin as we dive into life in Florida, the good, the salty, and everything in between. We'll chat about real estate, family, sports, building a community, and all the unique things that make living in the Sunshine State so special. Plus, we'll bring on some amazing special guests to share their stories and expertise along the way. So grab your favorite drink and get ready to laugh, learn, and get a little salty with us.
Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the Real Salty Podcast. We're so glad you're with us tonight. What's up?
Not you. I'm your pink.
I'm pink.
It's so cute.
And actually, I don't know if we can look, but
I
have the flamingo earrings on today.
I love
to match the pink pajama top that I'm passing off as work attire. I'm just kidding.
I would never have known. I actually was just like, she's so bold to wear pink.
So you know what's funny?
I'm like a black and white girl all day long.
What the good people can't see, maybe, or all of it, is that this is on top of black on black. So I wasn't too brave this time.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I grew up on the Gap, and I worked at the Gap for 10 years.
That's true.
So it was always about the bottoms, and then a plain basic top.
There you are.
And I just still stick to my roots.
Well, at least they let you guys wear colors at the Gap. My mother worked for Macy's for a number of years. They only let them wear black. They can occasionally wear a red accent, like a red scarf or like red, I don't know, glasses, jewelry, shoes maybe. But otherwise they were expected to be in all black on black. And
I do remember that.
I remember after she stopped working at Macy's after a number of years, her entire wardrobe was black.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like,
it
it just looks like you're going to constant funerals.
It's a constant.
Which, black is very chic.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of black in my wardrobe.
I have a lot.
I know. I have to push myself.
I have a lot. I have to push myself.
This is 2025 push Caitlin.
Push
myself to buy the pink color.
Add to cart.
Because it also came in black.
Oh. That's actually really impressive, because I would have bought the black one and go, well, if I really like it, then I'll buy the pink one. So,
I
good for you.
Almost did, but I'd already bought a black vest short set.
Oh.
So it was like, okay, there's already that, so whatever. But
Anyway.
So, the oldest bird has left the nest.
Yes, my 20-year-old is in Florence.
Ugh.
Yes.
Horrible.
I know. Horrible life that he leads, but be still my heart. That's
so far away for a part of it to
be
away.
It's really far away, and as I mentioned last week, we've been there. So he was sending us, so he checked into a hotel on Sunday, stayed overnight, and then today was checking for his school. Tomorrow's orientation, Wednesday school starts.
Oh, wow. That's quick,
Yeah, so they do a whole day worth of orientation to get them acclimated into the city. So that's great.
Good.
But he's been there before, fortunately, and that's probably what made it so much easier for us. So he was sending us pictures yesterday, and you would not know where he was sending you pictures of unless you'd been there before.
Gotcha.
So, like, he sent us this picture of basically an outdoor flea market in Florence that has like every leather Italian good that you can have.
Yeah.
That, all the good people love to pick up some Italian when you're in Italy.
I love that.
And, but it has like tarp over it so that it can operate every day of the year.
Weather permitting.
Right. Exactly. So, but at the end of this like alley is a upstairs area that leads to this
black
amazing food court.
Sorry,
I know, right?
Amazing food court. Okay,
yeah, probably somewhere. No, that's downstairs.
I'm just remembering in the
that's where the card games are going.
Sex and the City movie too.
That's where the card games are going downstairs. Yeah, with the mafia.
That's where the cockfights are.
That's exactly
upstairs.
Exactly. I mean, seriously, that's right.
I'm kidding. He's going to a food court.
He is. He's going to a food court.
Just going to a food court.
So upstairs is this amazing food court that we ate at multiple times because you can just, it's not like your traditional like,
restaurant.
I don't know, mall food court. It is truly like fresh pastry shops, sandwiches, like lamb, like it just all the different meats that you would want, like everything you would want to see in a food court, but you could also shop there too.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like, so in Tampa, they have the Armature, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like that, but like 3,000 times better. And Armature does a really good job. So I'm but it's a market at the same time, so it just feels fresh.
Gotcha.
So he sent us this picture, and I'll show you guys it too. And you would look at it, and you're like, as a mom, you would be like, "Don't go there, don't go in there." But you looked at it because we already knew it, and we were like, "Oh, we hate you," because we all knew. Yeah, so we knew. But so it's going to take him a second. I guess his roommate broke his leg, so he actually wasn't able to go.
Oh my!
So he's a little upset he doesn't have a roommate. Understandably.
Hey, you know what?
But
yes,
I said that's a good thing.
But at the same time,
they're all grabbing onto anything they feel comfortable with right now, and so that's not him. But it's a 9-person apartment where each one has one has 2 in a room, which was what Cooper's was. One has 3 and one has 4. And then it's a common area.
That's crazy. Amazing. I wonder if they're going to separate out one of the 3 or 4.
Well, that's what I would say is like, I don't want to be in the 3. Can I just go? So I told him not to worry about it. But the only thing that was hard is that he did, a piece of luggage did not get there. Oh. So we had to deal with that. So, and that's not even easy when you are a functioning adult. But let alone when you're a 20-year-old pretending to be an adult in a foreign city.
Well, and a lot of times, too, when it comes to a luggage delay or luggage didn't get there, it's not his fault.
No.
It's something with the transfer.
But he just wants everything there, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, because he had to transfer 10 times, twice. But
didn't catch the plane.
It just didn't catch the last plane. Yeah, it didn't catch the last plane. So, there's going to be some hiccups. He's there for 6 weeks. We're super excited for him. We're jealous. We're excited for him, and he's just trying to get acclimated.
You know what? We can tell him, be like, don't get a roommate because then you can go visit him.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're not allowed to have this.
You're not allowed to have visitors in the hostel?
No, not till 11. After 11 at the hostel. Now, that's what he'll say when he goes to Rome. So,
oh, God.
Yeah. So, but anyway, but that was my weekend, is getting him off. And
it'll go by faster than
it will. It'll go by really fast.
I feel like he's older. He's been there before.
Yes.
Yes, acclimation is going to take some time.
It's going to, and time change.
But I hope that, I did an exchange program when I was younger, and it was just during the summer, so it wasn't even during a schooling or a tutelage kind of thing. It was a sister cities exchange.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And it was basically St. Louis's sister city in France was Lyon, and so I was lucky enough to be able to go.
Oh, you talked about this once before.
But I remember, and granted I was younger, but for the first few weeks, oh my God,
just scared.
I wasted so much time.
You're just scared.
Well, scared, and then also apparently just being the quintessential first world American brat.
Yeah.
Of I miss my friends, and I want to go home, and it's summertime. All my friends are hanging out without me, and I'm like, I'm sure that my parents could just imagine trying to reach through the landline and choke me and be like, look around.
Yeah.
Look around at where you are.
Right.
Woman.
Just take a minute.
Not even a woman, little girl.
Yeah.
Well, we pay good money for you.
That's funny that you mentioned the landline. Right, exactly. No, that's right. But you do. That's just acclimated. And so it's like,
you know what?
It's expensive. It's not cheap, but
now I look back and I'm like, that was the best thing.
Yeah, everything's gonna be fine with it. But you mentioned landline, which is comical because I had to, all the research that you're trying to do.
Do you try to do prepaid cards?
No, so you can do a whole bunch of different options.
Okay.
I opted to just let him use his phone because he's got AT&T.
Okay.
They offer international plans that won't cost more than $120 per bill cycle, and I'm like, whatever. Okay, so it's probably going to be 2 bill cycles. Knowing my luck, it'll be 3, but whatever. Bill cycles. But I had talked to my mom about it, and I was like, I just don't, a lot of people will go there and they'll buy a SIM card, they'll do this, they'll do that. I don't know what he would have done without being able just to call me. He acted like we were just sitting there watching and waiting for him to get to Florence. First of all, because he traveled overnight, and so he texted us at one point, and he's like, what time is it there? I'm like, 2:00 in the morning. And he's like, that's funny, but he was still traveling. So he's like, that's funny. So nonetheless, I opted to do that, but he could not, when he was dealing with his luggage situation, understandably, that's nerve-wracking.
Right.
But he tried to call me. It didn't go through. He tried to call me again, and it didn't go through. And I could see this. And then I answered, and he was like, Mom? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. I don't know why it wasn't working. And I could just, could feel on the other side. And I was like, well, that, whatever decision I would have made that wasn't this was going to be over at this point. You're so
welcome.
But exactly.
You chose right the first time.
Put it on your tab. Because I don't even know. So, but anyway, he's off and I can't wait. It's just exciting. It's exciting. So
that's very exciting. I feel like your other kids will be like, I want to go do something.
Yeah, they will, which is, as when you have multiple kids, your first one, you're just trying to figure it out and do the right thing. And sometimes when you get to a lot of times don't do the right thing and you're like, well, I'm going to do better for the second kid. But the second kid has already seen the first kid go through what they're going through. And they're like, I'm going to do that too. And you're like, the heck you are.
Go
like,
right, reroute. No, around that.
I'm saying, but my daughter, I'm like, I said to her,
by the time Flynn gets around to it, you're going to allow her to go backpacking through Vietnam for 3 months.
Oh, I swear.
She'll be like, whatever, girl.
Okay, she'll probably be able to speak Japanese.
Live your life.
Yeah, right? Or Vietnamese. She probably will. Oh, yeah. No, on Friday, the kids are in school a lot longer this year because of the hurricanes.
Oh,
so they're in school 2.5 weeks longer.
Oh my God, my brain literally just realized that was during the same school year.
Yeah, I know, because it's just like
it
never
doesn't
ending.
seem like it's the same school year.
So this school year has been so long. So they've all, like, my two other ones have taken all of their AP exams. What are the teachers going to teach? Because the AP exams are done by the country at the same time on the same day. Maybe not the same time, but on the same day. So all AP Euro is going to be on one day. Right. So they're all finished with them and have been since last week. So now they're just like clocking hours. So on Friday, Cooper and I were working out in the yard before he was getting ready to leave. And I was like, I guess your brother's not going to school today. I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden, my daughter comes home. She's like, hey, Mom. I'm like, what are we doing home? There was nothing going on. I just left. I'm like, okay, we have lost total control of our kids because there's nothing. The teachers are literally watching movies.
But see, that's it. Exactly.
Which I feel so bad for them. They cannot. I mean, I guess they could continue teaching, but they're not going to study or test them on any of this because they've taken their AP test. They don't have a final. Yeah. So it's crazy. But anyway.
Okay, so before we move on, because I know we've been touching this for a while, but my last question would be, back in my day, good night, you could only miss 10 days of school, and then you had to have, like, a doctor's note saying you were dying.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if you haven't, though, because my thought would be, like, for your overachieving daughter, okay, I'm just thinking of, like, Flynn. She probably has missed very few days.
Very few days.
So why could she not just burn?
She could, and that's what
that she has.
That's exactly what Brody and Flynn said. Is that we saved all these days, and so we reached a point last week where I truthfully said to them, "I'm not calling you out anymore. You're on your own.
You're a no call, no show.
You are. You're a no NCNS.
You are an NCNS.
That's what they're writing on the break chart for them. Right? Exactly." So, but I still get the robocalls at night. Your son was not in school. I'm like, yeah, put down he's a senior. But with Cooper, we'd reached a point where I was like, I literally would just email him and be like, I don't know why he's not going to school. He's a senior. I'm not sure. I don't even know. So, we've all been there. But yes, there are. There are definitely the amount of days that you can or cannot miss. But I guess at this point, what are we going to do?
There's nothing really to do. I just want to make sure that it's not going to trigger something that it's like, well, you missed more than 10 days. And so
it probably will. Well, I have no control over my children anymore.
Force majeure.
I am a...
Just tell that principal, bitch. Force majeure.
Force majeure, number 9.
Sir, woman,
ma'am. They'll be like, what?
Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. They'll be like, that? Oh.
I don't know. Otherwise, you guys need to get yourself a pediatrician like I had in high school, because he wrote me a note to drop a class that it was too late to do so otherwise, because it was, quote, on the note, detrimental to my mental health that I be removed from this class.
If I've seen one of those.
And you want to know why? Because the teacher and I didn't like each other.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dr. Livingston, enabling in Wildwood, Missouri since 1993.
Thank you, Dr. Livingston.
You know what? We'll move on so quickly, but I just want to say that doctor also wrote me a note to get out of the freshman dorm. The one freshman dorm that was on campus that didn't have air conditioning, and you were supposed to have some type of respiratory asthmatic excuse as to why you should be transferred out of it. Otherwise, it was freshman dorm, suck it up. And I don't even think now there's schools that exist in this country. Maybe in like Wisconsin that doesn't have air conditioning.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah.
Well, in the southeast Boot Hill, Missouri, it gets hotter than an armpit when you start school back in the fall. So he wrote me a note that I had asthma, which I do not. So
yes, well, it's true though.
And I got transferred to the air conditioning dorm. So
it is true though.
I heard he passed. God rest his soul. So Dr. Livingston. To Dr. Livingston.
Oh, to Dr. Livingston. To all the doctors that think about mental health before
that
mental health actually was really a big thing.
West County St.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was like before mental health was like.
You know what?
Thing.
Exactly.
He was very progressive.
You know what? He was very progressive. Besides the fact that he literally was like the doctor from Forrest Gump, where he wasn't smoking in the room, but in his white lab coat, he had the Camel non-filtered cigarettes in the pocket that he took his scripts out of.
I do love Dr.
And
Livingston.
Occasionally his non-filtered Camels would fall out of his lab coat.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
But you know what? That man.
Yeah, that's very progressive. I mean, I think that mental health is something that I know it's like such a hot topic now, but I just think that you need to go to the doctor for mental health nowadays too.
I'm going to be honest. I understand having the internal stigma, whether it be from your upbringing or maybe your environment that you've learned or felt that you've learned this stigma. That's seeking other help or outreach or therapy of any kind. And maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I live in my own little old millennial bubble. But I just personally don't see how if anybody admitted something, that openly someone would bash that person.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I
know people in my life that would literally give somebody shit for seeking help.
I know.
You can see yourself out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there was just a mentality of like, you'll get over it.
Oh, 100%.
You'll just get over it.
100%.
So good for Dr. Livingston for being so progressive, because I'm telling you, like,
yeah. So he got me out of interior decorating into shop. Shout out to him. Yeah. Anyway.
I love it.
So we were just talking about before we hopped on the air about how Memorial Day weekend is sneaking up on us this year.
It's early. Like normally we don't have a whole 6 days afterward. That's still in May.
Solid.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah. So right now we're recording on the 19th, which is a Monday, and the next Monday is the 26th, which is Memorial Day weekend. So that means that Memorial Day weekend actually starts.
Yeah, we'll be off for a week then, huh?
The 24th.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So
yeah, that's really crazy to me.
It seems super early, but at the same time, we'll take it.
We'll take it. That's right. Memorial Day always kicks off boating season here. I mean, it got kicked off pretty quickly this year. I think there's a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons I think was January was very cold in Florida this year. We were very, very cold for a month straight, and then on top of that, I think that people, are starting to bounce back with everything, and so Memorial Day always kicks off boating season. Labor Day kind of ends it. Yeah. So it should be a good season, and it's all right. I mean, it's supposed to be a little bit cooler this week, humidity-wise, not temperature.
Which is fine.
But it's definitely already.
It's fine, man, because I took my dog out at 5:00 in the morning yesterday, and it was like walking into a bowl of soup already.
It was crazy. I ran this morning. I was like,
ugh. Right.
Maybe I'll just do one lap.
It's like you're running through the thickness.
Oh yeah, I was like, I think I'll do one lap.
Yeah, lap.
Exactly.
Swimming.
Exactly. I was like, I'm going to walk the dogs. That counts too. But it definitely. So that's super exciting.
That's super exciting.
And then Thursday we have.
That's right.
That we touched on this a couple of times, but a business meeting for John's Pass owners to just talk about the seafood festival and the future of it. All good stuff, really. I mean, all great stuff that the city's actually asking for the input.
They want the input. They want the feedback.
Yeah, they just want to know where. I think they're just going to talk about feedback, what they want, and they want us to support these things and not be like, gosh dang it, seafood festival. And not that all of it, I mean, not that any of us are really, really like that, because we do like that there's attention toward John's Pass, and let's face it, there's like over 3 million people that come in every year.
It's very true, and unfortunately, there's a lot of message to get out still that we're
still
back. Here.
Yeah, we're still
and
here.
And we're still here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here. So a lot of the, off Gulf Boulevard has some time, but it's fine. But we're going to help all of them.
That meeting, so about the business owners in John's Pass, kind of a seafood festival feedback, I'm going to call it. That's actually going to take place here on Thursday. Yes, Thursday morning. And we're going to go to that. So stay tuned, because this place might actually be the first place that you guys hear if any sweeping updates were made at that meeting. Like,
there's not like minutes or anything. I don't think this is like
HOA. And I don't think they're going to have a gavel to necessarily say, motion passed, we're moving it to October.
Yeah. We're having it at a brewery. How serious can it be?
That was my question, is do the kegs turn on at 9 o'clock in the morning? Do we have to go to work the rest of the day?
I don't know. We're going to have to figure that one out. These are some serious questions that we have.
Either way, we're going to have to keep it together, because that very night, actually, the Pinellas Beaches Chamber is having their monthly networking event. And I'm so excited because it's actually being held at the Seaside Bird Sanctuary this month.
So good at those. Are you going to it?
I am.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Well,
I actually will go to that, because I love the Seabird Sanctuary.
I'm 99.9% positive that I am, but Thursday is also the day when my fiance Trent leaves to go back to Missouri, so I will go home.
Maybe a quick I'm
going to go home on lunch and check on my dog. Yeah. And as long as I don't walk into geriatric disaster, meaning that all my rugs I have to do.
Well, we don't want any of the creatures over at Seaside thinking your dog is.
I can't bring him, right?
No, right.
You can't bring him. And so, as long as he's shipshape, then I'll run home real quick, and then I'm going to go to bed afterwards.
Okay, so we'll figure that out.
I am excited that they're able to even hold this event here, because the Seaside Bird Sanctuary is a huge supporter of the Pinellas Beaches Chamber and vice versa. And they always have a presence, it seems, on a lot of our community events. Personally, Trent and I have called them their wonderful volunteer rescuers multiple times since living here. And you working on the water.
Yeah, we have direct.
See injured birds regularly. We see injured birds we live behind the pass regularly. So it's just amazing that there's an organization, and then these selfless people also donate their time to try to collect these birds to rehabilitate them.
It's amazing. And they lost everything in the hurricane.
That's what I was about to say. And they're actually on Gulf Boulevard, on
beachside.
And they have live animal enclosures. Their animal hospital is there. They do have a location off the beaches.
Yeah, which is where they the number of
animals
were there.
Of course not. They didn't leave one behind, but they finally have been able to get that location here in Indian Shores back up and running to an extent. I saw the other day that they were finally able to bring back their pelicans. Their pelican outdoor enclosure is back up and running. So Thursday, and if you guys aren't members and you're local of the Pinellas Beaches Chamber, you are welcome to still attend the event. It's a $10 ticket for members and a $20 ticket for non-members. I guarantee you're going to want to be a member after you attend one of these, though. I never fail to meet another business owner in the local area that I can figure out how to do some type of professional partnership
with them, for sure.
Or the fact that we might want to talk about them and feature their business on the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, maybe we'll go and represent. So we use them
Thursday,
a lot.
Drinking at 9 a.m. at the brewery, we need to make sure to keep our wits about us for the networking event Thursday night.
That's right.
We'll see how that
We'll see how that shapes out. We actually, because we're on the water, pelicans are the number one thing that, I have countless videos of us rescuing it. It's fishing lines. The last time that we called them was a couple weeks ago. Pigeons have been a new one recently, but we called one a couple months ago, and it must have whacked itself into a bridge or something, because its beak was so bad. And they came out. There's a woman that I work with named Kim, that I just so if anything were to happen, or you were to see something that doesn't look right, you can call them and leave a message. You say and they actually will text you, and then you upload a picture of what you're seeing, and they really want you to try and hold on to the animal if you can, because otherwise they're just for lack of a better word, chasing birds all the time. Well,
and which way did it go? It flew up and that way.
Exactly. So we always have to be careful about that too. But this particular bird, so Kim got a hold of someone else, because Kim was down at the Skyway got a hold of someone else. This other woman came over. We were able to help her get the bird, and unfortunately that was the very, very first bird that they and then you can follow up.
Yeah.
But that was the very first bird that they were there for 3 minutes, and they ended up having to euthanize the bird because it was so bad. Yeah. But the bigger part is at least it didn't suffer.
We had a great egret that showed up incredibly injured. Its beak was literally it got stuck in something, and it was just hanging.
Yeah, that's
off
exactly
of his
what
face,
it was.
and it was bloody, and
yes.
it was horrible. And of course,
great heron.
This was it was the great egret.
Oh,
I
egret.
messed up. I'm sorry. It was a great egret.
Okay.
So this was our first egret that we kind of had an affinity for when we moved here, and I remember it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
So a couple days spent. You have Kim. We have Bill. So
Bill,
yeah,
I know
shout
who Bill
out
is.
to Bill.
Yeah, I know who Bill is. Yeah.
Shout out to Bill and his cockatoo. I can't remember her name, but he always has his white cockatoo with him when he's catching bait fish.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Shout out to Bill. Bill does.
So, but they both do all of them just do amazing work,
workers.
And it really is all volunteer. Yeah. It really is. It's just the work that they do, and it's just amazing. I mean,
if you guys are ever looking to have some kind of drive or anything with your kiddos, or if your kiddos are ever looking to do donations for their birthday, they are constantly in need of donations. You can always reach out to them to see what they specifically need at the time. But I watched their social medias, the Seaside Bird Sanctuary in Indian Shores, towels, laundry detergent to wash everything that they use on these birds.
Yeah.
They're
always looking for volunteers. So I mean, a lot of the students in the area need to get volunteer hours in order to meet this obligation for scholarship for college, and that's a great place to do it
as well. And it's on the beaches, and it's a beautiful thing.
It really
is. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a really awesome thing that it's right here.
Yeah.
If you drove by, you'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you could
but
miss
it really is. It's a nonprofit. It's a fantastic thing. So,
yes.
Okay, that's cool. I love that.
So we have
I
that
actually
Thursday.
have not heard that. So.
Thursday is a big day. And then, my friend, we have Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend. So stay tuned for that, because I'm sure we're going to shoot all kinds of I was about to say dumb footage. It will not be dumb. But I'm just saying it's Memorial Day, and if we find our way out to the sandbar for Memorial Day, I saw the events already going.
Lots of stuff.
Always. So, but other than that, there is one other event coming up, which is sneaking up on us that I wanted to mention. I don't think we've talked about it during the podcast, which is the Madeira Beach Midnight Market. What do you think about this?
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm kind of wondering why I didn't get involved but because I just need one more thing on my plate. But I think that
universe?
I know. I don't need to put that in the universe, but that's pretty awesome. I think that's fantastic.
So this is going to be
when is that? This Saturday?
It actually is the 7th. So this will be well past Memorial Day. This will be the kids are out of school.
Okay.
I don't know why you would have a child there until midnight, but this is going to be interesting because it's kind of the dog days of summer, right? Already into June. Well, dog days is August, actually. So, but it's hot.
It's still already hot.
This goes from 5 p.m. until midnight.
That's a really long time.
It's 7 hours.
Is it at Archibald?
It is actually at ROC.
Oh, ROC. Okay.
Yep. So it's going to be at the Madeira Beach ROC Park, which is right behind our beautiful city hall. It's on June 7th, and it starts at 5 p.m. Free admission for all, not just the kiddos. And there's going to be over 100 vendors, including...
That's amazing. Well, that's almost like the one that they do, the
Merry Market.
Which they've done very successfully.
But the Merry Market doesn't go till midnight.
No, and the Merry Market is, not hot.
No, it's not. It's usually in the cooler months during our
December, I think it is. Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about this.
Does such a good job of putting stuff together.
We always have things going on. I love it so much.
Me too.
I will be interesting to see. They're going to have so not only will they have live music playing throughout the entire duration, they're going to have food truck vendors. There's going to be a beer garden that's brought to you by $3 Brewery and the Bronze Lady Home Furnishing sponsors. Very excited about this. I will be interested to see who's going to be really hanging out there at 11:45 p.m. that doesn't find their way to the saltwater.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, stumble over.
And I mean, that's a commitment to the vendors.
That is
They
a
have
commitment.
to stay there until midnight. And
yeah,
I
usually
the breakdown,
contractually they do. Yeah.
And the breakdown has to occur immediate, or do they get to go home and then come back? Probably not.
Probably not.
So that's a commitment.
That is a commitment. And they'll probably have music. They always do a good job with the music piece of it, too.
Well, and for 7 hours of being open, I have to assume there's going to be at least 2 bands.
Yeah.
Because that's
at
not
least,
feasible
right?
for 7. I'm thinking it's like a 3-hour set for each and probably maybe 3 bands. Because then you're talking about at least a 2-hour set, 30-minute breaks. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
We'll leave
That's awesome.
We're going to
June
leave
7th.
it. Yeah, we're going to leave that up to the good people of the city. I'm sure they know what they're doing. So
I need to put that on the calendar. So I love that.
And other than that, I mean, real estate wise.
Oh, we must. So Caitlin and I did a co-listing.
Yes.
And it's going to go. So yes, in Madeira Beach. Yes, of course it was impacted.
Yes.
Yes, of course it was. But this seller has gotten everything taken care of,
yep.
Put it back like it's new, and I would even argue better than new.
Right.
Because everything, because Madeira Beach's requirements, everything has to be inspected, down to the type of screws that you're using.
Well, and let's also talk about all the electricals updated.
Yes. And hers was already no problem,
yeah,
but
that's true.
You don't have to worry about that. But the plumbing actually had to get updated.
There
was some plumbing that had been plumbered.
It had been replumbed
It'd
before.
It'd been redone.
Yeah.
And
it'd been touched.
Moved around she did a different design in her kitchen.
Yes.
But so it's truthfully, Caitlin and I have mentioned this a million times, that it's so hard to know what is available now as ready to move into, or what you're going to have a project with, because there's just not a lot of them out there that have been completed. But she is literally one of the first.
I agree with that.
And that's going on the market,
and it's going to come back. To
the
market,
so it's going to be back on the market next week.
Completely done, permitted,
yes,
approved work. And this was something that Stephanie and I mentioned in the last few episodes barely, is that it's so important to make sure that if you're working with a buyer's agent, that they are helping you do the due diligence of how this property and how much it was affected.
Yes.
And what has been done since from its effectiveness.
All of the stuff, yes.
All the things. And so it also has to do with the fact of, this is pretty and new and it was put back together. Were they even supposed to be allowed to put it back together?
Yeah.
And
we haven't even crossed that bridge with a lot of it yet. We just haven't.
So
But this is exciting.
It's very exciting for her because, as we mentioned, I think even last week's episode, this was a listing for a seller that we were working with pre-storm.
Yes.
And so just to see her in a place of, what would be the word? Absolute.
Yeah.
Meaning that we're ready. We have a plan. This is definitely what I want to do. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I told her today, I was like, this is so corny, but I was like, I am so proud of you. You are one of the first to be able to put yourself back together and then say, still the same goal.
Exactly.
I know the market has shifted, but the reason she's moving has nothing to do with any of these hurricanes.
Correct.
It's only because she's trying to consolidate some of her life as she moves on later on in life.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. So I'm super excited. So we'll put some footage about that on.
Yes.
Because that's really exciting. It's just gorgeous. And Caitlin and I are going to run some open houses and probably make that the only way you can view her house.
I like that.
Because that way we can go through the process, so that anyone that's coming in that's considering it,
they make sure to get all the information.
They get all the information from the horse's mouth. I mean, we all know that, if you're going to go out and look as representation from a buying agent, and I mean, we're buying agents too, so we understand that. You're going through and you're blitzing a couple of homes. Does that buying agent really understand the home? And so that part's really important to the two of us. It's 1 block away and actually considered part of John's Pass to a degree.
True.
And the views of Boca Ciega Bay, so the back bay, sandbar, pirate ship, tiki boats,
Christmas boat parade,
all of it. And it has an upstairs balcony, 2 of them, on north and south side. I'm really excited for her to get this back on the market, because this has been a labor of love.
And let's also talk about the fact that, this hurricane, there were so many homes and properties that had never seen water inside of it that were affected. And I feel like hers was one that has performed beautifully in different normal situations. And it was very, not easy. I don't want to use the word easy. But the thing is that with this type of a maintained property, I'm glad for her that obviously everything was allowed to be and move forward. But it makes sense to me.
It does.
Because the first level too is a solid construction.
Yes. Yep.
Property.
Yep. Exactly.
And the fact that she has dual access from the front and the back of the lot, the possibilities with it. Anyway, we will bring you.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We're really excited.
But stay tuned because I think we're going to still continue to have to talk about the fact of a lot. It just seems as though a lot of the owners that are taking the initiative to put their house back together is with the intention to keep it.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the market.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm encouraged. Exactly.
I am too. I'm really encouraged by it too, and it's hard to figure everything out with it, but I'm really excited for it. So that's fun that it's coming back on the market.
A lot of the buyers I've been talking to recently too are just kind of waiting for those mortgage rates to crack.
They are just to crack,
and they're not.
No,
right now they're holding steady. Mm-hmm. I double checked actually, and as of yesterday, they were still hovering at almost 7% for the 30-year.
Yeah, but with that being said, almost mortgage loan officers are doing everything they can to work with you.
Yes.
So there's a lot of incentives that they will offer you that they will say, like, just stay in this rate for 6 months and then we'll go ahead and refinance it. And it doesn't even have to be a full refi where you have to pay closing costs again. All of them have different programs that they're working off of where, like, you might just have to pay the admin fees, or you might have to do this, or you might have to do that, or you have to wait for 6 months or wait for 3 months. But it is always worth a phone call more than ever now. I think that you have to figure out the pre-approval piece, and it's not because we don't, like, as realtors, we doubt the credit piece of it.
No.
It's just that you want to make sure that you understand what, like, options you have and how everyone's trying to make this work. We're all in this in a place where we know that life is different than it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates are obviously double, in some cases quadruple, where they were like
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
4 years ago.
All these mortgage lenders are trying to make everything work with it. So it's super important. And there was like a 2 or 3 week lull, I felt like, at the end of March in these micro markets, in some of these markets, or end of April. And I definitely, like, within the last, I don't know, I'd say a week, have gotten way more phone calls.
Yes. Yeah.
And for listings and buyers where they're just starting to explore everything. And that's a really good thing, too.
And I think we touched on this in one of our last episodes, too, but the school year's coming to an end.
Yeah, the school year's coming to an end. This is when you enjoy it.
Set the wick on fire.
That's
and
right.
Start the show.
Yeah, start the whole thing.
That's right.
Exactly. So that, I think that, but yeah.
When it comes to the lender part, the one thing I want to mention, and I'm going to spring this on you because this was not part of our pre-chat.
Yeah.
So another agent within our office actually mentioned to me today that he verified with Bank of America. Okay, and I'm going to look into this a little bit more, but he has a particular listing that can actually qualify for a qualified buyer for grant. There's a grant that you can get as a
really?
buyer through Bank of America for a primary residence.
Okay.
It has to be a primary residence.
Well, that's fair.
And there is a salary cap that you have to make per year.
Okay.
But basically, we're talking...
Wow, that's an incentive.
We're talking grant money being offered at this point with a negotiated mortgage rate buy down. And so
that's super
to help
interesting.
Incentivize that. Now, again, I need to look into this. I don't know if it's a FHA. I don't know if it's a first-time home buyer, if it's a hometown hero gang. But it sounded like it was Bank of America grant specific.
That's very interesting. Well, I definitely think that I can imagine that any mortgage company right now, on Monday morning debriefing, they're sitting there and they're saying, throw out any idea you might have. Like, what can we do?
I just got
visual.
Yes, I just got a visual of Office Space.
Oh, exactly.
Anybody?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I have to envision that that's what's going on. Is it's like, let's just brain dump on things that we can do.
It's funny you mentioned that, because actually just thinking about like taking a pulse, I've actually gotten reached out to by a couple of MLOs that I haven't seen in a while or worked with in a while or referred anybody to. And they're like, hey, how's it going?
Oh, me okay? Too.
Are you mad at me?
Me too.
What's good?
Me too.
Almost like that's
3 of them.
Girlfriend? Yeah.
Well, and they actually are just trying to read the market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they're dropping their commission rates to help with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there's just a lot going on in the world. Like there's just a lot
of people too that
and so there's,
willing to
insecurity do a lot. But there's a lot of people that are willing to do a lot.
Well,
so
let's get creative.
I literally wrote that in one of my listings.
I love that.
I literally wrote, like, let's all get creative.
So push you outside your risk zone.
Like, I'm like, bring us an offer. Yeah. We're willing to do seller financing. Just let's make this work. I got a
condo that overlooks the Intracoastal that doesn't come with a boat slip. Here's a 1-year Freedom Boat Club membership.
Exactly. Right.
Knock yourself out. You get to go jump on a pontoon any weekend that you want. Right?
That is amazing.
Offer. Well, I'm just saying, this is creative things that I've been hearing from some of these listings.
Yes.
And so I was like, that's an excellent idea. Because, who wants the maintenance of a boat anyway?
Nobody.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people think
best day that you buy it, the best day of your life is when you buy it and sell it.
I know. I was just thinking, too, about a friend of mine where it turned into, he was in a rental situation. His boat was on a lift and it failed during the hurricane. And so it turned into, your lift broke my boat. No, your boat broke my lift.
Oh my gosh.
And so then it was like back and forth, over who broke what. So anyway.
But yeah, so, and then, it's crazy, I'm telling you. But I think that you do have to jump out right now and at least explore
and just
options.
Make sure to talk to the experts, because I feel like this is going to segue into the other topic we wanted to touch on today. Ask the experts and talk to people that are actually in the field for which you have a question for. Yeah. Because this topic, I feel like we're kind of going into, and maybe I'm jumping the gun.
No, you're good. Is that one of my buyers sent me an article on Realtor.com that, like, literally the headline is, a secret mortgage blacklist is leaving homeowners stuck with unsellable condos.
The fear of it all.
Like, I don't even know what that means.
Trigger words, and then it's
secret mortgage.
Unsellable. Like, it's a coverall statement that you accidentally bought something that cannot be sold.
Be sold.
You're stuck holding the potato.
And you didn't know the secret.
And you're out.
Yeah, and you're out. And you're out.
What's that kid from The Simpsons?
Exactly. I mean, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. I actually didn't even need to read the article. I knew exactly what it meant too. Like, and because, so this is where mortgage becomes a little bit more complicated, and I certainly am not going to pretend like I'm the expert, but I know a little bit about it just from obviously us working in the industry.
Right.
A little bit.
Right.
So there are some condo complexes out there that you, as a realtor, see how it was purchased.
Yes.
And some of them end up being 99% of them end up being cash.
Right.
And the others are VA loans or conventional. And when you start digging into where those loans are coming from, they're coming from like Bank of Tampa.
Right.
They're coming from small credit unions.
Right.
They're coming from VA credit union.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that like all condo complexes have an HOA. All HOAs prefer to be owned and run by the owners.
The actual owners.
The actual people that live there.
Correct.
That live there. And surprisingly enough, and I actually did not know this until I got into real estate, was that when you go ahead and you get a loan, as you start to create stability with your loan company and you pay your bills on time, you have enough equity, they will sell your loan to Freddie Mae or Fannie Mac.
Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae.
Of course I got that wrong.
I love you because I was like,
I know I'm going to say this wrong.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're just
You're going to sell it to either one of those.
Either way, he and she wind up holding it.
Yeah, he and she owns it. Yeah, they just own it.
Surprise!
They own it. Surprise! We own it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a massive amount of percentage.
It is. It's over 50.
Exactly.
It's over 50% of your loan. So the Federal Reserve works independently from the government.
Right.
Thank God.
For now. Hopefully forever.
For now.
We'll see.
And that's always been the way it's worked, so that we keep a checks and balances in the United States, right? That's primarily Alexander Hamilton, why we created this whole system, right?
Maybe some people need to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, yes. Everyone needs to go back and rewatch it or just watch it.
Yep.
Anyway, so until that happens, because a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America, a Citizens Bank, they work off of credit as well. They only get a certain amount of money that they can lend to borrowers.
Yep.
And so because of that, once they've reached a certain threshold that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac
feel comfortable with assuming that debt,
they sell it to them.
They pass it off.
Yeah.
And they clear their debt.
They clear their debt, so they open up a credit line, so then they can loan more.
Right.
And that's where you earn the most money, especially if you've got PMI attached to it.
Sure.
That they can make the most money at the beginning, because that's when, the average homeowner only stays in their home for, I think it's 8 years is the last statistic that I heard.
I'm actually surprised, and this is micro market.
Yes.
But that doesn't seem like the case here.
It doesn't. No, we move too fast.
Well,
people just make decisions.
It's either a 2 year to avoid the capital gains, or you've owned it for 40 years.
Yes, exactly. You actually inherited it. And then this doesn't even matter.
But condominium-wise.
Yeah, so condominium-wise, there is a reason. And so there are specific condos out there. They aren't blacklisted.
No.
It's in their bylaws that they have to be owner approved. They have to go through an HOA, owner approved. Or one of the other ways that they also do it is that the owner has to live there for 2 years or a year before they can lease it out.
There you go.
So that ends up becoming someone that is going to live there.
Right.
And so it just becomes this whole thing. But, I was grateful that my client sent that to me, because like I said, I didn't even have to read the deets of it to understand exactly what it was. But going back to
sweeping coverall fear mongering,
it really was
is not what it seems to be.
No, and in this world of condos right now, where they're just trying to get right sized.
Well, and I think the connotation, or at least what my brain assumed by that type of headline, is that these condominiums or HOAs are so dysfunctional that the banks refuse to lend to them. And it's actually the opposite. It's the condo association owners that say, we don't want to play with you.
Yes.
And the reason
that's exactly it.
We don't really know who
we want to stay owner occupied. Yeah, we don't want you to be on our board.
When you think of now I'm about to mess them up.
I know. That's what I know. I'm
and Fannie Mae, you think of it as an entity, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not somebody that I can drive down to the credit union and have a conversation with Lindsay over there.
Yeah.
That's not the case. So when you think about owner pride, and ownership, when you have the people that are vested in it, they give a damn about the property values. They give a damn about the board members, right? This is to keep some entity from Washington, D.C. for logging in for a Zoom to have a vote.
That's right. No, that's right.
1974 condominium building.
That's right. No, that's
that
right.
That they own the majority of.
Yes.
So
that's exactly it. It's to make sure that Aaron Burr stays honest.
That's exactly right, and that they can.
He doesn't start shooting people.
Exactly, but I feel and maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but my brain, if I think about it from a kind of civilian thought, is that these banks are saying they're so awful. You know what I mean? That they're blacklisted.
Yes.
And in reality, it's
they won't let us.
Happy Place condominiums.
Yeah, they won't let us.
They
don't want us. They don't want us.
I don't know with
you. No, that's right. It's right. And so in a market and specifically Florida, now this was a California-based market, but it could be applied everywhere. It could be anywhere. The examples they gave were California-based, so it's obviously, and we've talked about this in episodes before, but California and then Florida have the two highest condo markets.
True.
So but for a condo market in Florida that has just gone through the ringer and back again because of the milestone reports, and we've done plenty of podcasts on this, that is just important for everyone to kind of understand that. But the whole like piece of selling your mortgage, that happens with single family homes too. That's not specifically to condos. Like that's everywhere. That's actually something that most people don't know about their mortgage, because you still actually pay the mortgage company. It's almost like it's a lease out process. So, but
until you don't, and then they all come.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's like,
yes, exactly.
But
that's the whole thing about, no, that's exactly it, is that's the whole thing about, you've got to get in front of an expert, and if you're not sure, then bring someone else in to ask about it. And I'll be the first one to say, like, if you have questions about that, then I have a home on the market that is essentially and falls under this category.
Okay.
And it has to be a cash only transaction.
There you go.
And I have another home on the market that I know it's going to fall apart.
Wait, the actual
unfortunately
home?
like
the deal.
Yeah, the deal. I know it's going to.
I thought you meant
because the home. Like I'm just, and that's more hurricane related than anything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, not the home.
I was like, are we huffing and puffing and blowing this down? Like, what are you talking about? Because I heard a termite story, which we need to talk about termites.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, we need to talk about termites.
I heard a termite story the other day, and it seemed like a huff and puff and blow this house down kind of thing.
Yeah, it becomes a food
with
buffet in Florida.
Lack of
We're almost in a termite season actually again. Let's talk about that next week.
We should.
So, but I have gotten more calls in the last week, and when I have an agent that wants to show my property, I will actually say to them, like, is this a cash deal?
Yep.
Or is this, and I'll take the time to explain it to them, because no one wants to show their client a home
them to like it,
and then for them to fall in love and then
find out they can't have it,
and then they can't have it.
No, that's wasting everyone's time.
Everyone's time.
Yep.
Everyone's time. So, but just reach out to people that know.
Just reach out to people, and it does make me incredibly perturbed.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like angry, but seriously, like on realtor.com, think about the millions and millions of people that see that.
Yep.
And then all the millions and millions of people that own condos.
I know, that are just trying to move on with their life.
Immediately, it's
that's
like,
right.
Kind of
that's
thing.
Right.
And it's like, I particularly think about my dear mother and mother-in-law that see these attention-grabbing headlines or whatever and be like, oh my God, kind of thing.
Yes.
I love you both dearly, but this is exactly why we also have to tell our lovely families back home, don't watch the national weather channels.
Yeah.
It's
we
a
actually are not in Miami.
Coverall statement of attention-grabbing.
It is
bullshit.
Yeah, and everyone's just trying to get viewers, and I understand that.
It doesn't mean it's not true, but at the same time, it's not true in the manner in which they're looking to make it. They're looking to it's clickbait.
It is.
It's clickbait.
It's going to be totally clickbait. But you mentioned viewer. So Hannah from the fruit.
Oh my gosh! Hannah. Shout out to Hannah from the fruit. Shout out to Hannah.
Yeah. Yes. So just her. I just love her business acumen. I really do. Like, she's just doing a killer job. She must be so excited for this weekend, because it's going to be just a killer weekend for her. She's the fruit lady, as she's also known.
Fruit float.
The fruit float.
The fruit float.
And she has 2 or 3 boats, small little boats, that will go out to the island.
Oh, you want to feel like you're in...
if you're like really living the Caribbean life. Oh yeah, coconuts and pineapples with all these different spices. And one of the things that we had mentioned in a previous podcast was, I wonder if they serve alcohol with it. They don't.
Now. They do not.
Hannah informed us. She reached out to us via social media, and they do not.
But I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure there's quite a few other elements of alcohol that people are throwing in it while they're at the...
I think a DIY effort at the sandbar is probably a done deal.
I think so.
It's more of a hallucinogen du jour.
Exactly.
BYOH.
Yeah. I mean, no one's going out to the sandbar, buying a pineapple they didn't know that they needed, and then going, oh, if I only had alcohol. No one's doing that. I mean, literally no one.
And so here's the thing. I know we're going on a tangent, but shout out to Hannah. Actually, we need to get with you to talk about having you on our podcast to talk about your lovely business. I know that when we met briefly, you kind of explained through your world travels where your business idea came from. And I think it's
she's
awesome.
A native.
And she's
generational native.
Dude,
of Madeira. Not even like Florida. Madeira.
Madeira.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, she's precious.
Yes.
Yeah. Preserve her at all costs.
All costs.
We hope to see you at the business meeting at the Seafood Festival for this Thursday. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. We'll go ahead and reach out to our dear friend Hannah, and at the same time, we'll bring you updates from what that Seafood Festival Business Owners Meeting holds for us on Thursdays. Of course, if there's any topics that you want to hear us discuss, please give us some feedback, because we would love to talk about what you want to talk about. Don't get weird.
And also, look, we probably won't be doing it next week because it'll be Monday.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
a good
Memorial
point.
Day. So we probably won't. We'll figure it out. But look forward to the next termite discussion. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about termites?
It's termite season.
Yeah, who doesn't want to talk about termites and understand those little critters?
We will talk about the state bird of Florida the next episode.
Yeah. And no, that is not a meth lab.
No.
That is termite central.
Termites. I was going to say they leave little frack presents and wings and all kinds of fun things. So
yes.
more to stay
Lovely.
on that, and why we don't really freak out down here about them.
No.
Things like that. So, okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please make sure to go give us a follow on our Instagram page and our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Shout out to Jared for getting that in order with us.
And we got a TikTok.
Oh, we have a TikTok now.
Yeah.
A TikTok.
Yes,
okay.
TikTok.
Shit. Sorry.
We
have a TikTok now.
Yes.
So please also make sure to give us a follow there. Until next time.
Yep, till next time.
All right, guys.
Have
Thanks
a good
so
day.
much. Bye. Hey, got it.
Got it.
Rapid fire.